Hello and welcome to the Daily Records Hotline Live, brought to you by NordVPN. My name's Angus Hyde, and today I'm joined by Gannon and Ryan McDonald, live from Linz. Gentlemen, how is Austria treating you?
Not too bad. It's actually getting a wee bit cool here. It's been roasting in the last couple of days, but the temperature's kind of dipped, which is probably going to be good for the players tonight. But it looks like the skies are going to erupt any second. There's also going to be I think the rain's on the way, but Celtic hoping it's not raining goals at their end. I see. It's already started up. Constantly tabloid mode. But yeah, it's been good. Celtic fans have been piling in all day. I think they've been based all over the place up in Vienna, mostly in Vienna. Some of them here in Linz, but a lot of them in kind of Vienna. Some even as far ahead as Prague and all that stuff, like making a week of it. So they're all starting to pile down. A couple of thousand, maybe?
Yeah, I think there's 1,900 away tickets have been sold. So we'll probably add a couple of hundred onto guys that unfortunately don't have tickets. And there's a good amount of people here. As I say, they're all coming for all different routes. So yes, we've seen plenty of them kicking around, that's for sure.
I think it's going to be quite a tasty atmosphere here, Angus. I just saw the crowd of about 500 of the Linz ultras walking by, and it was they looked quite tasty. So that could be interesting.
There's one of the Celtic boys came over here ducking for cover. He had a Celtic.
Yeah, he's walking the wrong way to the stadium wearing his green and white hoops, and there was about 500 of the Linz hardcore element behind him, and he burst into a bit of a jog to get out the way.
Oh, he's missing a target.
Oh, I think they're pretty friendly. I think they're quite friendly ultras, aren't they?
Yeah,
maybe. But I think it's going to be a spicy atmosphere. The stadium it's quite a kind of compact. Little kind of, let's say little, it holds about 25,000. I think this stadium 23,000. But quite compact. It's on top of you. So I think it's going to create a good atmosphere. There's two standing sections, a whole standing section behind the goal, which I'm guessing is where the young team go, the ultras. There's also a standing section in the corners. I think that's where we're going to be at Celtic end.
Yeah.
I think they're a standing section as well. So I think it'll be a good atmosphere. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, but I think it's going to be lively.
Yeah, massive game for Celtic tonight. Going over there. 1 foot in the Champions League, 3-0 up. How do you expect this one to go for Martin O'Neill and co?
We've been talking about this in the press room there with a few of our colleagues. We're pretty split. I think with Celtic in Europe, it's never really straightforward, is it? Even fans heading over to this for tonight's game would probably say the tie's not completely dead and buried yet. But I think it's all about how Celtic start. You know, if they can weather the early storm, which is probably going to be coming their way from LASK, and kind of quieten the crowd. Ideally, of course, we'd want to get an early goal. If Celtic can score first, then you pretty much think that's the tie done. But yeah, I think it's the first 10 to 20 minutes is going to be absolutely crucial for Celtic, and yeah, it might be backs against the wall for that period, but if they can hold out, and they've shown a lot of discipline on the road, especially under Martin O'Neill over the last year, so if they can hold out, and I think as well, Celtic will play on the counter, so that'll probably, if LASK are going all out, like the manager said in yesterday's press conference, and that'll probably play in Celtic's hands as well, because they've got guys that can, like Camilo Duran and probably Yang on the other side as well, that can bust forward and create chances and score goals. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting evening, but I think that my score prediction is it'll be 1-1, but it'll be jittery at the start. I think that's for sure.
I think tonight is about crisis management. And at this point in time, at 3-0 up, there is no crisis for Celtic. Celtic are 3-0 up in the tie at the half time. They're in a strong position, so there is no crisis. But at some point tonight, there will be a moment of crisis. It might be a goal they concede. It could be a red card. It could be something silly. And it's about how Celtic cope with that crisis when it comes. There's going to be periods in the game they're going to have to dig in and hold firm and have a bit of crisis management. That's the key to it. If they can do that, I think I agree with Ryan. I think Celtic can pose a threat. I think they've got players on the pitch, and LASK will know that as well. They'll be wary that after last week that Celtic got players with a lot of firepower. That if they get a sniff, they'll put it away.
Ruthless.
So I think they might be a little bit wary of that as well. If Celtic can get a goal first, the tie's over. If they concede first, it's back to what I'm saying. It's crisis management and how they see that out and get through different periods of the game. If they lose an early goal, try and get to half time if they lose another one. If a goal comes on late and they know it's coming, the Alamo's coming, deal with that as well. There's going to be periods in this game they're going to have to be cool and cute and be streetwise and try and see it out. In an ideal world, I mentioned it to Martin O'Neill last night about the Stuttgart game in his run to Seville, his first spell in charge, when they were 3-1 up the first leg, scored 2 goals in the first 20 minutes in Germany. The tie was over. That's what they thought. Still had to hang on a bit, but the work was done basically. If Celtic get the first goal tonight, the work's done. It's bomb and dry time. If they don't, it's crisis management time. So I think most Celtic fans think it's going to be the latter, unfortunately.
So brace yourself.
Having been used to this roller coaster ride through the years, so we'll see how it transpires.
Yeah, feeling a pretty spectacular collapse. You would like to think that the Hoops have got one foot in there and are soon to join by the other.
They should have. They should. Listen, they should see this out now. I mean, listen, whether the first leg was a 3-0 or not, and I think it's a wee bit flatter in the scoreline given the nature of the game, the chances that LASK had. But they really are in a real strong position now. If they didn't see it off now, it would be a major disaster in terms of where they are at this point in time, because you'd have snapped a hand off for a 3-0 first leg lead after last week. I think any advantage would have been a good result last week. To go here with a 3-goal advantage, they can't ask for a better shot at it. They'll never get a better chance to get the Champions League than this. So they have to go out and grab it. I'm here kind of joking, say it's going to be a stressful night, and it's going to, because we've experienced it before, and Celtic fans have got this PTSD from previous campaigns. But in reality, they should have enough to see this job out. If they don't, then it'd be a major problem.
Two opportunities though in the first game where Celtic could have gone down. Do you think that Celtic have the kind of mentality, the kind of guile to, if they do go down early like they almost did in the first leg, can they hold on and keep that going? Because that's got to be kind of the nightmare scenario as they score first and get early and are on the front foot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think the key word tonight is discipline. Celtic just need to be strong at the back. If they concede early, they can't panic, can't push the panic button. I do think that Celtic do have enough quality to get the job done and probably even to avoid defeat tonight. I genuinely think if Celtic score first, that just completely sucks the life out of the crowd and probably out of the last players as well. So it's all in Celtic's hands. They couldn't, like Mick correctly says, I don't think they could have dreamt of a better scoreline to come into this tie, especially if it been away from home as well. Celtic weren't kind of lucky with that one. Obviously they're a seeded team, but they've been drawn away for the second leg away from home, which is never ideal. But yeah, I just feel, for me, I just can't see Celtic not scoring. They've got so much quality in the team now. They've been ruthless at the start of this season as well. And I think with so much we talk about, we'll probably end up already talking about to talk about Angus, but with so much money in the line as well, we talk about the 40 million quid that Celtic are about to bank. By the way, the squad's going to bank a healthy bonus as well if they get through.
Oh, aye.
Don't forget about that. So that'll be another if an added motivation if they ever needed one as well to get the job done tonight. So, I think, yeah, as I say, it's just about keeping the discipline, keeping the head. They've got experienced guys like Callum McGregor on the team who's been here before, and yeah, I think they'll be able to do
it. The one thing I would say was encouraging from last week was the last 20 minutes at Parkhead last week at 3-0 up. LASK had a right good go again, and I thought Celtic defended that period quite well. I thought Cameron Carter-Vickers, I thought, was outstanding that last 20 minutes.
Immense.
Reading the danger, cutting off trouble before it kind of transpired. I thought Boston Trusty using his pace to mop up anytime, helping his pal out, because obviously Carter-Vickers isn't the quickest, whereas he's got a bit of pace. I thought they were good, and even amongst the changes, because your two fullbacks who were completely gassed. I mean, Kieran Tierney and Colby Orman had put in a heck of a shift for 70 minutes. When they come off, you start to think, when you start making changes, the game gets a bit ragged. I thought Celtic managed to keep their shape, but Rio Tati was good from the bench last week. So that 20-minute period was LASK having a go to try and get a goal back. They thought it could keep the tie alive at that point, and I thought Celtic defended it pretty well, and that's what they're going to need for 90 minutes tonight. That kind of same mentality, that kind of same concentration. Nothing silly, no daft decisions, no typically Celtic in Europe moments, losing goals in bunches and all that kind of stuff, giving away silly goals early on. The early goal, I mean, how many times you've seen Celtic losing the early goal in Europe? But again, and also that the last 20 minutes I thought was good last week, but also even last season I thought some of the away performances under Martin O'Neill, I thought Stuttgart away was a really good performance. Bologna away with 10 men, really resolute. I mean, they held out for long periods in that game. They were good. Feyenoord away, really good that night on the front foot and in defending. So these are the games they lean on. These are the kind of moments they can rely on for this one. But it's going to be a stressful evening.
Yeah, of course. We were talking just briefly when you made your cameo appearance yesterday, Mick. Just quickly mentioned the fact Trusty's back in the squad, but the other thing we kind of mentioned as well was the fact that Alistair Johnston confirmed out. Talk us just a bit more about how obviously big an absence he's going to be in that back line. Obviously, he offers that. We've talked a lot about how Colby Donovan's done at right back. He's done well so far. But yeah, how big is that going to be? Obviously, this has cost him a spot in the Premier League potentially.
I mean, clearly losing your first choice right back at this stage when there's 40 million quid in the line isn't ideal. But look, Celtic managed to cope without Alistair Johnston for pretty much most of last season as well. Colby Donovan, it was a really coming of age performance from him last week. He was excellent. He was among Celtic's top performers. So look, I think Colby Donovan, he's a kind of safe pair of hands. I think he'll be fine. As we've mentioned before, definitely in the Europa League last season, Colby Donovan excelled as well. So yeah, obviously it's unfortunate for Alistair Johnston. It's a real kick in the teeth as well. The fact that he's going to face, it's not only a couple of weeks, but it's another fairly prolonged period of time out. And he's going to be missing big games as well. So, talk about the potential Champions League games or Europa League games, he's going to miss at least 2 Rangers games as well. So you've got to feel for him. And then, like you discussed, Angus, potentially missing out on a big money move to Everton. So it's not ideal for him. It's not ideal for Celtic. But I think in Colby Donovan, they've got a really able deputy to see the job through tonight. And obviously they've got Anthony Ralston, who's not played much at all this season, but he's obviously on the bench. And yeah, he gets a hard time at times, but I think he's reliable whenever he lets Celtic down. And if they need him, you'll be able to call on him tonight as well. So yeah, I don't think it should have a major impact in the game, on the basis of the fact that obviously Celtic have got a 3-goal lead.
It's a major blow, but I mean, there's no way of sugarcoating it. I mean, this is a player that Celtic value at £20 million plus. This is a guy who's really good at the World Cup with Canada. A guy in demand, a guy on the verge of a big money move to England. He's a huge loss. And I think he's seen it last year when he came back into the team for the last kind of part of the season. It's no coincidence Celtic's form changed during that period, and he's a big part of it. So I think he's a major miss for Celtic. I agree. I think Colby Donovan is a really promising young lad. Still a bit raw at times. That'll come. But he's came through some pretty hefty examinations so far. I mean, he's played in European games. He's keen as mustard. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's got a bit about him as well in terms of ability. I mean, Martin keeps talking about his heart and all that stuff, but he's got a good bit of ability as well. But he's not Arthur Johnson. There's no getting away from it.
Well, Arthur Johnson's a late right back, so
yeah, that's what I mean.
And it's also Colby Donovan is only 19. So, but as we kind of discussed in yesterday's Celtic podcast, I think for young Colby to get a chance to play in the Champions League stage tonight it's excellent as well for the pathway. Look at Kieran Tierney when he made his breakthrough. I think it was in 2015, around about that period, 2014-15. I remember him really, coming alive against, I think it was Fenerbahce in Europa League, and that was really the makings of him. After that, he never looked back. And Colby Donovan, he's obviously the opposite side as a right back, but Colby Donovan will hope to follow a similar path. And I really think he's got tons of potential. He's already shown his ability, and yeah, obviously it's a massive loss with Alistair Johnston, but they managed to get through most of last season for him, so they'll have to get through tonight. Yeah,
it was an interesting question. We asked Martin last night after we did our Daly's press conference part with us, and we asked him, would this injury perhaps force him into making some sort of move in the transfer window for a right back? And he kind of didn't say yes or no, really. He kind of said, well, maybe we'll look at it. That he has said he looked at a couple of right backs. I wouldn't be that surprised if there's a loan option would pop up, especially in the English market towards the end of the window. If one pops up that he might like, although I heard David Moyes the other week saying there's a dearth of right backs. They're an endangered species apparently, right backs, which I thought I never realised there was a global shortage. Is this down to this because the straits are closed. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why there's a dearth of right backs in world football. But so I don't know. So maybe that loan market for right backs isn't going to be that deep anyway. So maybe they're not going to be much option.
I agree. I think towards the end of the window, you might see a couple of loanees coming in just to fill gaps, and right back could be a potential option. Also, think that Martin O'Neill will probably look at players who've got a bit of versatility as well. The likes of Nico Seeger, who's been we've reported as a target, and he's also keeping a move to Celtic as well. He plays right back for Hajduk Split, but he's also able to play in central midfield. So that's another route that Martin might go down, because we know that he likes versatile players who can play in multiple positions, and he wants a lean squad as well. I think that's pretty clear with the signing strategy this summer. He's not overloading the squad. He's actually get rid of, I think, 16 players now, 4 in, probably another 4 on the way. So yeah, I think a loan option could potentially be viable, but we'll just need to see what happens with it.
Also, a lot will depend on if Celtic get through this tie. Let's be honest, they're going to be minted, or more minted, don't they? I mean, they've already got a few bob in the bank. But I mean, the riches on offer here after winning this tie. I mean, it's a guaranteed 29 million quid right at the bat before you sell a ticket. But chuck in ticket sales and all the rest of it, you're looking at north of £40 million. So the money's going to be there. Plus already they're right enough, but they've made money this summer.
Plus the allure of the Champions League as well.
And you get the carrot of attracting players to go and play at that level. So I think it does open up. This game tonight does open up a few doors. Mm-hmm. We've seen it in the past when they have made it to the group stage. It does change the narrative in terms of when you're sitting down to sign players, whether it's a permanent or a loan. It's an attractive proposition to play Champions League football. So there's a lot at stake for Celtic. I mean, these games. I don't know what you think, Ryan, but I think sometimes these games can set the tone for an entire season. I mean, last year Celtic
definitely set the tone.
I mean, losing, going out to Kayat over the 2 legs was, fairly disastrous anyway. But it set the tone for the next few months. Let's be honest, it set the chain reaction of mayhem for the next few months that rolled right through to probably March. Which is probably why Martin was sitting here right now. I think this year would be different. I think it would be slightly different if we don't make it this year. I don't think it'd be quite as dramatic as last season, but at this point it would be huge. And it would change the whole atmosphere in the club and the recruitment the next few weeks. So as it's huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, 40 million potentially coming in. The pub questions also always, what would you do with £1 million? What should Celtic do with 40 million smackers? Like, obviously looking down, transfers will still be on the agenda coming out of this. We've seen a few. Look at after this game, when I lost, how should Celtic be looking to move on transfer-wise? What are the main kind of positions they should be looking at? And also, it's a chance tonight for the new acquisitions to obviously make their claim and show what they can do.
I thought he was going to ask us what we were going to do with 40 million quid. I wouldn't be standing in the rain on no offence, guys, on the Hotline Live. On the golf course. Somewhere sunny. Aye. So what was it? What did Celtic going to do with 40 million? I'd be doing, but what's Celtic going to be doing?
I think there's going to be at least 4 additions in. I think a left back is cover for Kieran Tierney. Goalkeeper is challenging. I wouldn't say even is cover, but to at least challenge Bill Sinisalo for that number 1 jersey. I think it's dependent on Neil Hattati. If he leaves, you can see 2 midfielders coming in. If he doesn't, then I think it'll be at least 1. And then you might look at, as I said, cover for Alistair Johnson at right back, maybe a loanee coming in. I still think Celtic need a winger. It's a left-sided winger to really just kind of finish off that attack, that new look attacking strike force. Obviously the fans are desperate for Jota to come back, but we've kind of discussed before, mate, I think that's going to be Jota's going to need a lot of time to get back to those levels that he once reached before. So Yang's obviously leaving as well. He's going to be on international duty from next month onwards. He's going to miss a chunk of games as well. So for me, I think I asked Sean Maloney the question a couple of weeks ago whether they were still looking to bring in a left-sided winger. He kind of suggested that they weren't, but I don't know. Their minds, like you say, £40 million in the bank. They could end up using that to bolster that side of the attacking area. But yeah, I think there's going to be a minimum of 4 players coming in, and I think, to be fair, Martin O'Neill said in his broadcast press conference yesterday that he he was asked if they make the Champions League or if they don't make the Champions League, will that impact his budget? And he said no. So he seems pretty confident they're still going to get the signings in the door that he needs, regardless of tonight's result. So you've got the Celtic fans quite rightly have held the board to account over the last year or more, and on the poor recruitment and lack of ambition. But they've first pushed the boat out this summer, and I think again if they do reach the Champions League, then I think they will push the boat out, particularly in a midfielder to replace Arnie Engels.
See, I don't think they have pushed the boat out this summer. I think they've paddled the boat the way it should be, but I don't think they've pushed it. But I think because they're actually £8 million up for the summer.
But that's good business.
It's good business, but I wouldn't say that's pushing the boat out. I mean, I think they're not. If they
broke the transfer record.
Yeah, but the money was coming in. The money. So I still think. When was the last time they actually spent more money than they brought in this summer? I still think there should be scope to bring in two biggies, which is like, I mean, I probably look at the midfielder, looking at a 6, 7, 8, £9 million midfielder. I still think one more. I think a wide player. I think probably a wide player on loan would be sensible. A wide player, wide attacking player on loan, I think would make sense. I think they'd maybe use that market the last week of the window and see what they can get on loan. And I'd like to say another midfield would be handy if the Tati goes goalkeeper on the right. But I still think they might bring two or three, and I think two of them probably should be biggies.
I mean, I'm not funny. If Celtic spend the way we're expecting them to spend in the final few weeks of or a couple of weeks of the transfer window, they can end up spending almost like £50 million in one window. That's unheard of. That's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Celtic have spent 30 and 4 players so far.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, that's a sign of ambition. And
but the alternative would be that they've got £130 million, £120 million in the bank. Not doing anything.
Well, that's what's been happening for.
Because you want that on the pitch
for years.
That was always Celtic's mantra was always we spend every penny we bring in. Well, they have to do that then. I mean, if they bank £40 million because of the Champions League, that has to be reinvested to make them competitive in the Champions League. Because, listen, I think Celtic have got a decent enough starting 11 just now. I still think it can be better.
He's strengthened it.
I don't think this squad is built as enough to cope with the rigours of Champions League and domestic three competitions.
Not right.
So they need extra bodies in. So they need this money isn't going to be any use in the bank. It needs to be on the park. And whether that means it's going to cost £50 million, then fair enough, because listen, we said at the end of the last season it was a bit of a rebuild required. That's what it costs. That's what the money's there for. That's why you're selling guys at 20 million to get that, to put it back on the pitch. So it's big business, but it's sound business.
Yeah, looking at Celtic's transfer business and just looking at names that have come up. You mentioned Sinisalo. Look, there's interest in the Hungarian keeper from Blackburn Rovers. How obviously Viliami Sinisalo, he was playing in the Championship. He's come through. He's taken the gloves after Schmeichel's injury. How kind of happy are you with him between the sticks for the Hoops? Does he need that kind of competition to push him, or are they needing to switch it up?
Talking about Schmeichel, we actually saw him in the press room, didn't we?
Yeah.
Came in and said hello.
Casper's been kicking out of here. He's doing a bit of media work again.
Yeah, he's doing a bit of Amazon.
He's looking well.
But yeah, I spoke to Vil Sinisalo in the mix zone after the game last week, and I kind of pushed him on that his position is number one at the minute, and the possibility of a new goalkeeper coming in. And do you know what? He seemed pretty confident. He seemed pretty assured. I asked him as well if he had any discussions with Martin Neil and the coaching staff, and he said that he did. During pre-season in Portugal, he sat down with, I think, Martin Neil and Mark Fotheringham and Sean Maloney, and they just asked what can he do to be better, to prove himself as number one. I think Martin Neil ideally would like him to kind of fill himself out a wee bit. But look, I think Sinisalo is a safe pair of hands. He's waited patiently for this chance. I think he was always part of the succession plan for Kasper Schmeichel leaving and retiring. You know, he made it clear that Sinisalo said the other week that he wasn't here to sit around and just watch somebody else playing goals. So I think if a new keeper was to come in and he was to automatically lose his place, I think that'd be extremely harsh on him, because since he's come into the team since February last season, I think he's hardly put a glove wrong. So I think he deserves a real run in the team as number one. But I wouldn't be bringing in a backup. I think you've got to be bringing in someone who's capable of being number one as well. Somebody that's going to be pushing him to keep improving as well. He's only 24. He's a Finland international. So he's still got a lot of development. He's in his early years. He's nowhere near his prime as a goalkeeper either. And the only one concern I've got with Sinisalo is his distribution at times can be quite ropey. Can put the team, especially defence, under unnecessary pressure at times, and that's not ideal. But clearly, that's something that he'll be working on and training. But yeah, I think he's a more than capable number one. He's never let Celtic down. I think he played a key part in Celtic winning the double last season as well. Because I'm not being funny. I think if they persisted with Casper, then they would. I don't think they would have won any trophies.
He's there. Careful, just walk past you.
They wouldn't. I don't think they'd have won any. So
you still get one good arm to swing it.
He deserves a lot of credit. I think he's got a lot of goodwill in the bank. So I hope for his sake that he gets a real shot this season.
Funny you say that, but
that's a team actually arriving. Like, see in the background there. That's a team just pull out the.
There you go.
The right, two teams arriving as well.
I was saying distribution as a goalkeeper. I remember saying that about him a few years ago. But yeah, looking at that, you're not the only Scottish team. Celtic are not the only Scottish team in Austria just now. I'm sure if you were in Vienna coming in, there's Hearts are in town for their match against Rapid. I caught up with Fraser Wilson, and he talked us through what the surprisingly, I think the Rapid manager was happy to kind of stick the boot in and get the ante up for their 2-2 match in Vienna. I'm joined by Fraser Wilson. Fraser, what is it like in the Austrian capital?
Wet, my man. So thankfully I'm taking shelter here. And I don't actually know if it's a home or away dugout, but check the size of these dugouts, man. They go on forever. They're 50-seater bus. So a bit wet, a bit grey, a bit drizzly, but all ready for tomorrow night in here. This bit is going to be electric. It's going to be on fire. We're told it'll be pretty much full, 24,000. And speaking to the Rapid Vienna manager earlier today, Johannes Hoff-Thorup, former Norwich City manager, a wee sort of pop at the Hearts fans. When we asked them what sort of atmosphere Hearts would expect, they said my fans will go for the full 90 and extra. Not only in the good moments, like in Edinburgh last week, when we managed to quieten the fans. Yes, Hearts fans were loud in their good moments, but when we took control of the game, they went very quiet. So we unnecessary pop. We love that sort of stuff in here. It kind of just adds another wee thing into the fire, doesn't it? So no, it's all teed up. I mean, this is a cracking arena here. Beautiful. It's like a mini, maybe a bit like a mini Bayern Munich Alliance Arena. A lot smaller, but again, it's got the kind of green and white lights around the outside. Very futuristic. And it kind of compact as well. So I really think this will be a cracking atmosphere tomorrow night.
Yeah, of course. And Hearts arriving with it online, that'll add a wee bit more spice to it with the manager's comments. I'm sure the Jambos fans will take that in their stride as they go into Vienna tonight. A lot of Jambos fans heading over, I hear.
Well, we're told they expect maybe just over 1,000 in the stadium. I don't know how many will be heading over, but I think they've got just over 1,000 tickets for their wee corner. I'm not sure of what end it's at. I've not asked that yet, but no, they'll add their colour to the occasion. Of course, it's last chance to win for both these teams. The pressure is proper ramped up for both of them. This is it, a 90-odd minute shootout, perhaps more. This could go to extra time, could go to penalties. For that shot at £5 million Conference League main phase place, which decent money for a club like Hearts. They will be desperate. Oh, yeah. This is their third chance at qualifying for a main phase in Europe this season. They were battered by Benfica in the Europa League qualifiers. They were absolutely smashed by Sturm Graz in the Champions League qualifiers. So let's hope it's third time lucky against Rapid Vienna tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. And Rapid are a team that have known a lot of success in Vienna, in Austria itself, and they've been in the Champions League. Their fans will want a result tonight as well. Obviously, they've been overtaken by the likes of LASK last season.
They're a big name, they're a famous name. You know, they've got European pedigree going back through the decades, and the manager alluded to that today. I think one of the local journalists seemed to get a wee bit spiky with them. The local journalist suggesting that Rapid were heavy favourites. There was a lot of expectation on them coming into this game. Thorup was trying to claim it's equal balance, the expectations, pressure on both clubs, which it is. But then he took he took the reporter's point and said it was a compliment if folks see them as heavy favourites. I mean, the bookies do have Rapid as odds-on favourite to go through this tomorrow night. They're the home side. They've got that 2-2 draw for the first leg in Edinburgh. So I suppose for that alone, they maybe do edge it. But I don't know. A part of me thinks Hearts, the way they've started this season, the way they've improved, as I said to you before, week on week, they really do carry a threat in the top third. If they can just manage to somehow bolt the back door, I think Hearts have a really good chance here.
Yeah, who's going to be the difference maker for Hearts? Because, as you say, you know, the back line has to perform. But they have got some weapons.
Away from that, so up top, I mean, James Wilson's come off the bench and scored twice in the last 2 games, and we all know what his second goal looked like against Rapid Vienna last week. It was a thing of absolute. It was worthy of a World Cup spot. So I expect he'll start on the bench and they'll look to maybe bring him on if they're needing an impact. So really leading the line up top will be Landry Kabore or Amadou Bassé again. I think Landry Kabore, I could imagine, will be given the nod because he's got so much energy in comparison to Bassé. But behind him, Claudio Braga is still the man that Hearts fans look to produce the magic. He's now on 2 goals for this season. He's got a few assists as well. He's coming more and more onto the type of game that we expected from him last season, and that type of game that won him Player of the Year, both for the PFA Scotland and the Scottish Football Writers last season. So he's still the man, the difference maker for Hearts. But beyond that, they've got new signs like Sabri Guendouzi. They've got Calvin Miller, who's really starting to hit the goal trail. Josh McPake was excellent against Vienna last week out in the wing. They've got lots and lots of different threats. And Saba Karzota, again, who's really stepped his game up this season under Router Rankin. So they've got plenty of options up there to cause damage. As I say, the big question for me is just, can they keep the back door shut?
Yeah, of course. And for Hearts, a lot of the kind of lacklustre start was put down to, you know, a large part of the squad was gone, who was part of the success last season. Shankland's number 9's been filled, I hear.
Yes, I just announced the signing of JJ Williams, American 6'4" striker, comes in for Rhode Island on a £100,000 deal. 2-year deal that he signed at Hearts. I think he scored 11 goals this season in the second tier of American football for Rhode Island. So a big striker, he'll bring a physical presence, but a lot of energy with that. Beyond that, don't know, second tier the American game, we'll need to see what he's all about. But it's one that Router Rankin seems to be very excited about, and we'll be hearing for the Hearts manager in the next hour or so on that and on tomorrow night's game.
That's stabbing.
Well, guys, we're back after Hearts have got some job to do. Gentlemen, what are thoughts? I want to get your quick thoughts on just the Scottish teams in Europe. Obviously, we've got a few in action. How do you think the scores are going to go across the board?
It's a tough one for Hearts. I thought that goal, that late goal last week, was a bit cruel. I mean, it got us in a great position. I still think they've got a chance. I don't think Rapid are that great shakes at the moment. But it's a difficult one. It's an intimidating atmosphere. So it's a big ask. I feel for Hearts. I mean, they get to that Champions League spot, and the draws they've had have been horrendous. I mean, the old coefficient is battered them, hasn't it? Having to go from Sturm Graz to Benfica to this one. So it's been really unfortunate for them. So I think they're up against it. It's a really tough one for them. Mull as well. I thought they played well in first leg, but that's a big ask until that round over in Germany. So that's going to be a tough one. Rangers, I expect Rangers to qualify. I mean, I don't think they were great shakes that first leg. They deserve to win the game. They'd like to have been more comfortable. I don't think Jablonec are up to much, to be fair. It would be fairly disastrous if Rangers didn't win that tie and see it through. I think they should, and I think they will. And the big one, I think Hibs is the big one. I think Hibs is the one that could be one of those big European nights at Easter Road. I mean, they've set it up perfectly. The tie's not over. It's going to be tough. Get a decent side. I just think there's something in the air, maybe, and that could be the one. That could be the real excitement. And if we can get 3 teams into the group stages, that's not too bad. That would be a decent return, I guess. Ideally, we want Hearts in there as well. I think Mull was probably too much to ask, but I think there's 3. I think we'll get the 3 of them. We'll win there. But We'll see.
I'm looking forward to the Hibs game in particular. I think they've got a right good chance. David Gray, they built up real momentum. The flying start to the season after obviously that shaky start against Motherwell and earlier on in Europe. So Easter Road will be rocking. It should hopefully be a sellout. And I think that's 2 clean sheets they've kept away on the road in Europe now as well. So I think they're building something there. And if they can get into the Europa Conference League group stages, I mean, what a lift that would give the entire club as well. So I'd like to see Hibs do it. I think they probably can and probably will do it. I think Rangers will get the job done, but I feel, for Motherwell, clearly, you talk about bad luck coming up against Freiburg, the Europa League finalists. Like Mick says, they scored first for part last week, but that's too far gone now. And Hearts, Rapid Vienna, I think they're top of the Austrian Bundesliga at the minute with 3 wins. I think they've scored 11 goals and conceded 1. So they've got off to a decent start. And I feel conceding that goal late on at Tynecastle last week after James Wilson's wonder strike, it was really cruel in Hearts. And I feel that might just cost them in the end.
We could really be doing with a few clubs getting to that Conference League group stage and getting some wins. Because the bigger picture, the poor wee coefficient is lying battered and bruised in the corner, and we're heading to a world when our teams are going to be playing 4 qualifiers, and we're going to be starting in June the 4th, and we're going to Lincoln Red Imps and all these places. I think they could really be doing with some points on the board this season.
Yeah.
I kind of concerned that it's not going to be the case for some of the clubs, but we get 2 in there and winning a few games, that would be helpful for the bigger picture. But listen, that's for the bit another day. It's getting the results into their own clubs and fans' personal kind of pride and glory in the meantime. But bigger picture, come on, guys, please help with the poor wee coefficient.
Yeah, of course. And just finally, lads, Celtic, I need your score predictions, and we'll let you guys head off before tonight.
Yeah, I said it with 1-1 early in the show. I'm sticking with that. I've got a feeling that LASK might score first. Tails will go up, but Celtic will just need to have a siege mentality, backs against the wall, weather the storm for 15-20 minutes. The onslaught is probably going to be coming their way, but I think Celtic will score on the counter. They're such as I said, they've got prolific scorers in the team now. They're ruthless. They've been ruthless up front this season, and I think LASK going all out tonight. I think that will play into Celtic's hands and they'll hit them in the counter. And once they score that goal, I think that'll be it. Job done, because LASK aren't going to score 4. I don't think. Yeah,
I predict a wild basketball match. Probably LASK winning 3-2. All hanging out. Me sitting with my pants on my head, writing match report. But Celtic getting through in the end.
There we go. One of our commenters saying 3-2 the opposite way. So it could go either way. But boys, thank you so much for your help, for jumping on. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy and safe travels home once you're coming back.
No worries, we're going to see the wee buffet here. That's the big priority of the next 10 minutes.
That's the big
we'll
win.
See you later.
Of course it is. We're both eating some pizza, so that'll do us nicer.
Yeah. See if we get a wee spread. We'll see you later.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for everyone who's commented. Obviously, to all of our contributors, to our sponsors, NordVPN. And thank you very much. Enjoy the game tonight if you're watching. Good luck to all the Scottish sides. And we'll catch you tomorrow. And thank you very much.